guys, I'm Henderson and welcome back to my channel. Now Christmas is fast approaching and I realised the other day I don't have a stocking for my daughter yet. Now I could go to the shops and buy one, but I'm not going to do that, am I? I'm going to make my own. So I have this old Christmas jumper that I've been wearing for about 8 years now. It's been slightly felted in the washing machine and it's just looking really worn out and boggly, so I thought this would be the perfect fabric for my stocking. So I would really like to take you guys along with me on my stocking making journey, just in case you would like to make one too. So here are all of the materials you will need to look out for this project. What I need to do first for this project is I need to cut out my jumper panels. So I have my template here that I'm going to use to do just that. And what I'm going to do is actually cut them both out at the same time, because the jumper I'm using is the same on the back as it is on the front. And I would really like the rib part of the jumper to be sitting at the top of the stocking. I'm just going to simply start to pin the template onto my jumper fabric. So I've pinned my template onto my jumper fabric, and all I need to do now is cut out my two panels. So you want to use quite a sharp pair of fabric scissors, because jumper fabric can be really tricky to cut into at times. I really love that crunching sound of cutting into fabric. There's just something really lovely about it. Take your time when you're doing this part, because you can't really afford to make any mistakes when you're making a stocking, unless you've got lots of other Christmas jumpers that you can cut up. I've actually cut slightly wider than my template because I was a little bit worried that this part here was a bit too narrow. So yeah, I think that's a perfect width there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to place the right sides of the fabric facing one another. So you want the wrong sides of the fabric to be facing outwards, basically, to you. And what you also want to do here is you want to tuck these rib parts inwards. So we're going to pop these down like that. So all we're going to do now is we're going to start to pin all the way around our stocking, leaving an open gap at the top. So now I have pinned my two pieces of fabric together. It's time to get sewing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work a back stitch all the way around the two panels of fabric, and I'm going to leave about a 1 centimetre seam allowance, so here goes. So I've stitched all the way around my jumper panels, and now it's time to turn it to the right side, and let's hope that it's worked out okay. Now I love woolly pom-poms and tassels, so I'm going to attach one of each to the stocking, and I'm also going to add the word joy to the stocking as well, and I think that'll just finish it off really nicely. Here's one I made earlier. This is what I want to attach to my stocking. I've got these two different colours of wool. One's like a chunky acrylic wool and the other is a double knitting wool. So I'm going to make the pom-pom first using a pom-pom maker and the neon pink wool. So these are fantastic. They just make the pom-pom process like so much more easier and faster as well. So to make a pom-pom, all you need to do is tie the yarn in a double knot. And you're basically going to simply wrap the yarn around the 2 half circles and just keep overlapping it as well, so it's a really lovely chunky pom-pom. So what you want to do now is you want to cut right in between the 2 half circles. Now all that's left to do is simply to tie a piece of twine around the centre and tie in a double knot to secure. Pull out your half circles. And there you have it, a lovely chunky pom-pom. Now what you can do at this stage is you can give it a little haircut just to neaten it up. So I'm now going to make my tassel using this lovely chunky acrylic wool, and what I've done is I've cut out a template from corrugated card about 12 centimetres in height and 5 centimetres in width. So all I'm going to do now is simply wrap this around my cardboard template 20 times. I'm going to use a length of twine to secure the top loops. I'm just going to remove that from my cardboard template now because it's easier to cut the bottom loops. At this stage you want to lightly brush through all of the yarn lengths with your fingers. All I'm going to do now is take a long length of the double knitting wool that I used for my pom-pom. I'm going to wrap that around the top of my tassel and I'm going to secure it with a double knot. Now all you need to do is simply tie your 2 end threads in a double knot at the back to secure. What you can do at this stage is you can pull all of your lengths of yarn and it just makes it look a bit more neater. You might also want to trim the ends of the wool just to neaten it up a little more. All I'm going to do now I've finished my tassel and my pom-pom, is attach them both together. So I was going to use excess twine, but I think that was going to be too tricky, so I'm just using a long length of the double knitting wool. So I'm just going to carry it through the centre of my pom-pom, and I'll do the same with the other length of wool. So what I've done now is I've gone back down through the centre of the pom-pom, through the little loop at the top of the tassel, and then I'm going to carry the yarn back up through the centre. So I have made my lovely pom-pom and tassel, and now what I need to do is attach it to the corner of the top of my stocking. So I've simply taken 3 strands of twine and I have plaited them together, and the next step will be for me to attach this to my pom-pom. So once you've made your twine loop, you're just going to simply knot the 2 ends together. I'm just going to take a sewing needle and thread and attach that to the top of my pom-pom. So I'm just going to attach the loop of twine onto the top of my stocking now. Just going to work a few over stitches around the top of it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut out my templates, and I'm going to stick those onto pieces of felt, and then I'm going to attach those to my stocking. Whenever I make templates, I always like to print them onto adhesive paper, because that way you can stick them onto fabric and cut around them, and it just makes the process so much more easier and straightforward. Once you have cut out your letters, you then need to decide what colour you're going to do each one. So I think I'll do the J, this lovely pink colour. So all you need to do is peel off the backing and then stick it on. And I'll also do the Y in the pink as well. And I'll do the O in the blue. So I have cut out all of my letters and they're looking good. I've started to stitch around some of them. I just think a little back stitch will finish them off really nicely. I've also cut out some green stars as well, just for a little bit more decoration, because you can never have too much decoration at Christmas time, can you? So once I have stitched around all the letters and the stars, I then need to place them all on my stocking and decide where they're all going to go, and then attach them with glue, and then that'll be that. So I'm going to use a double length of sewing thread for stitching around my stars and letters. I always do this whenever I'm working on sewing projects because it just makes the stitches a lot more prominent. So I've decided to hand stitch around all of my letters and stars because I love hand sewing. I find it really relaxing and therapeutic. You could use a sewing machine as well, which would be a lot quicker. And you could also needle punch these into your stocking fabric using a 5-punch needle tool and a brush mat. You just need to make sure that the fabric you're using is made up of at least 80% wool. So it's now time to stick on all of my letters onto my stocking. I'm using a universal glue, which is an extra strong adhesive, and you can buy that in most supermarkets. You could also use a fabric glue, or you could use glue gun glue as well. Ta-da! My stocking is now complete and I am chuffed to bits with how this has turned out. It's just such a fabulous way of recycling those old, worn out, bobbly jumpers. I really hope that you enjoyed my video today. If you did so, make sure you give me a big thumbs up. If you'd like to see more of this type of content, make sure that you subscribe to my channel. And if you have any questions, just pop them in the box below. Hope to see you soon.